This is an Off the Tongue podcast.
Hey, everybody. I'm Doug.
I am Greg.
And this is Mike.
And this is the It's Funny That Makes It Okay podcast. We are part of the Off the Tongue podcast network.
Yes, we are.
Where you can find other podcasts like our lovely friends in Ohio, the Greener Grass podcast. They are also Pint Pals, several other ones. Check out the Off the Tongue network. Listen to some different podcasts. Check them all out. And I'm sure we have a flavor that will make you happy. So how are we doing?
It's crazy. Summer is almost here. Summer is practically
Summer is here.
It's wild.
I have a little bit of a gripe. I got sick a little before Easter, and here it is almost June, and I am still, it's like moving around in my body and different things. I like chicken pox things pop up, my eyes swelled up, and these are not all at once. It's just, I still have a little bit of a cough and congestion. That's been going on for 6 weeks.
And those aren't even age-related things.
No, that on top of my arthritis and everything else.
Achy knees and
forgetfulness. And here's another gripe. I grilled out some stuff a couple nights ago, and I always take my glasses off because I don't want to get grease on them. And I put them on the countertop in the kitchen. I cannot find them anywhere. Oh. I think my wife put them on. She swears that she did not.
Well, this is the place to blame her.
I am usually pretty good about putting things in certain places that I know. Now, I have a few different spots. So I'm like, well, maybe I took them into. Now, once in a while, maybe I run downstairs. I take them off to put on a old shirt, and I've left them. I've looked everywhere. My wife has looked everywhere.
Did you look on top of the fridge? You were probably getting meats out to cook or grill? Or?
I don't remember doing that, but it's possible. I did not look there. I'm going to have to look. I don't know.
Either you made somebody really angry recently, or somebody's got a voodoo doll of you or something.
Well, that's very possible. So anyway, that's all. That's all I had. So
I'd buy every good luck charm, like the rabbit's foot, to go look for some 4-leaf clover.
If it weren't for bad luck, Mike, I'd have no luck at all. So. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about jobs. We got some Gen Z stories where, are we going to rip on Gen Z? Maybe not.
You never know.
You never know. We may rip on somebody else. I want to talk. I got some hot sandwich talk. Well, not hot sandwich, but
I'll say
it's hot sandwich talk.
Okay.
It's not hot sandwich talk. So I got a little game we'll play. One's got to go. And then we're going to talk. We're coming into festival season, and there's a few bizarre festivals, and we'll talk about that. So I think Greg's got some stuff up at the front. So take it away, Greg.
Well, yeah. First thing is, I haven't done a gripe in a little bit, and gripe. Well,
on the podcast,
well, I gripe all the time. Otherwise, yeah. But no, my gripe this past week was passwords. I hate passwords anymore. I mean, it used to be. Remember when you could have, your name 1, 2, 3. That's my password or whatever. Now it's like if I don't sign into an app or a website for a little period of time, the next time I go into it, it's saying log in. Because a lot of times I'll say save password, but it'll say log in, and I go put my password in, not correct password. Crap. Put in not correct password, and then it's like, okay, forgot password. I got to change it. Okay, we just sent a code to your phone. Okay, go to your phone. You got to do that now. Or once you put the phone thing in and 8 pictures pop up and says, click on the bicycles. And it's like, do I need to click on the handlebar or do I need to click on all the little images? I can't seem to do it right. It's like I click the boxes that I think are bicycles and it'll give me another window and say, try again. And
silly Greg, that was a unicycle.
It's like, click on
He's obviously a robot.
Click on the school bus. It's like, okay, well, I think I clicked on every piece of yellow.
And inevitably there's one that's just like a little tiny sliver.
You click on those.
And then I'm like, yeah, I've had that. I had the same thing happen to me a couple weeks ago where I kept clicking and it kept giving me more pictures. I'm like, what am I not doing? I'm clicking and then it almost starts feeling like an eye test. I start stressing like, oh, geez. Or a hearing test, like, did I hear a beep? I think I heard a beep. You're like, man, it's kind of blurry, but that could be a bicycle handle or not. I don't know.
It'll pop number 1 or 2.
It's like I can't win with those. It's like a jigsaw puzzle or something. It's like I don't know what I'm clicking on. I can't make it because I'll do it, hit OK. Nope, it wraps around again. At least it tells me I'm not a robot at the end. But so yeah, the CAPTCHAs, I don't like those. You know, the weird letters. Half the time I can't read the letters that they're giving me that I'm supposed to type in because they're at weird angles and I can't tell if it's a capital or is it a small letter.
Those make me feel dyslexic. I kind of feel like I'm on a fever dream trying to read those.
Yeah. Domino's is notorious. I wanted to change my password. We'll send you a verification email. So I go to my email.
It's crappy $7 pizza. Oh, this is worse than my bank.
It is. But it says it's going to send me a verification email. It never comes. And I'm like, I want to order my pizza, but I can't get in the app because my verification.
The security is better for that. You can break in and take all the money out of your bank account. No questions asked. I'd like to order a pizza. What's your password? Well, I don't know. Oh, red flags, sirens are going off. This isn't Greg. It is. It's Greg.
And then my last one, the thing is I had one. It's like, okay, I can't remember my password. I hit forgot password. It comes up. Enter new password. Confirm new password. Type it in. You can't use one of the last 5 passwords you've used. So then I'm like, well, crap. Now I don't know. So I try another one. You can't use one of the last. So then I got to come up with some other random password that I'll never remember. So I don't know. It's just been anxiety ridden with all the passwords lately.
Yes.
So I don't know. Yeah, all the multi-factor authentication drives me insane.
Well, I'm a fan of the multi-factor authentication. I think it's saved me before because I have gotten login attempts to Facebook. It's like, is this you? I'm like, no, it's not me. As far as I can tell, it's happened
send me a phone code and, I can do that. That's fine. But
well, it's like, I do appreciate the ones where it's like, is this you? I'm like, yeah, it's me. Because if it's not me, I think I've been saved by that before. I'm not going to lie.
If it wasn't you when you were trying to break in, though, wouldn't you still say it's you?
Well, but the multi-factor authentication goes to like, so if somebody was trying to log in with like a online Facebook thing, like it would kick it to my phone,
right,
like as a text or something, or on the app.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but it's getting more and more frustrating because all these different methods they've got. It's like, it's fine. You want to send it to my phone and verify on my phone or whatever.
Yeah. Now all of my passwords are 16 characters long. I have made them all 16 characters long.
Are they?
Or longer. Yeah.
Oh, they'll make it. They'll throw some curveball at you. Oh, you don't have a period in it. You got to have a period in it.
Well, you have to have. Some of them will make you use special characters, but not certain characters.
Right.
Certain
if you use them,
allowed.
You could be in trouble. You're not going to get in. So frustration. Anyways, that's it I got for that. So you want to go into the work thing?
You're driving.
All right.
Well, nobody wants to work.
Nobody.
Nobody.
No.
Well, we've talked about that many times.
No.
About nobody wants to work. We've ripped on Gen Z for
including me. I don't want to work.
I don't want to work. I'm over it. But we've talked about it a lot. And I was just thinking the other day about hard work, and I was thinking back through some of my previous jobs in my life, and I was just thinking, what's some of the hardest jobs I had to do as I've gone through jobs, or I don't know. As I said when I messaged you guys, I said, or it could be tasks or whatever. But I came up with like 3 that just were really hard jobs. One of them was when I was 18. I worked at an auto detailing shop. And one day I came into the shop and my boss comes up to me, goes, "Follow me." Okay, I never liked that, when the boss just says that. But we go out, we get in his truck, and he drives me not very far from where the shop was that I worked at, the auto detailing shop, and pulls up to the Morton Fire Department. And he goes, "Come on in, grab the buffer out of the back," and we go in. And I had to manually buff and hand wax the white fire truck for a parade.
Oh.
It took 8 hours for me to just do that one truck. I was exhausted when I was done. So that was one. I don't know. Do you guys got any, the hard jobs that you've thought of that?
Well, the auto detailing one, yeah, growing up with my dad, that was an
Yeah, your
unpaid
dad
auto
was-
detailing job.
Yeah,
so I
did
get
a
you
lot
there.
of auto detailing.
The first one that came to my mind is, and it was only for a little while when I was in my first semester at Western Illinois. I did volunteer, and I volunteer, but it was volunteer tree work for the forestry club. And I was in a forestry class, and so we were up doing tree work, climbing up into trees, trimming them, pruning them, all that kind of stuff. And that was hard
I'll bet.
work.
I would fall out of the tree.
It's like, well, you rig yourself up in and you pull yourself, you climb yourself up. You're all strapped up in your harness and you're limb walking, to go hack off certain limbs and stuff. And then you gotta, certain ones you'd have to tie up and you'd almost have to, counterweight them and pull them down. And then you'd have to move the lumber to the chipper. And yeah, that was hard.
Yeah.
And that was just for a semester of volunteer stuff that kept me busy there for a little bit while I was at school. I enjoyed it, but
Cutting lumber, that's
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
lot of hard work.
that forestry stuff, it was like, that's not that I wanted it to be a career, but I was like, I'm certainly not doing a career out of this.
Well, it's like the auto detailing. I liked it. I enjoyed. That was one of my favorite jobs in my life was auto detailing. I loved it. But to have to do it to a white fire truck, that was brutal. Oh, you dug, gang?
I wrote down 3. I didn't love any of these. These were jobs that I hated. But, growing out in the country, I worked for farmers, baled hay for 3 years, earned every penny of that. It's
Every penny of that
awful.
quarter.
Well, we got paid $5 an hour, so it was better than some jobs. But
Yeah.
you earned it. And then if it rained, you hated that. You wouldn't work that day. But the next day, you knew that hay is going to be so heavy and wet. And it's awful. It's hot. You're in the barn. You can't breathe. Then I also I got installed carpet for a summer. That
I have never done that. I
don't recommend it. It's
Well,
hard on the
now
knees.
there's be no
the
way I
shoulder-
could do
I
it,
couldn't
but-
either. This was when I was in college. Hard on the knees and shoulders and everything else. And you get a house with stairs, a second floor, or we had to go do apartment buildings. No, you're dragging those rolls of carpet. You roll them up and then you fold them in half. And each guy you have to carry. It's a young man's job. It's not an old man's job.
I put in a luxury vinyl plank floor and I ended up in the hospital.
I would probably end up in the morgue if I did this now. And then the last one, for 5 years, I put windshields in, kind of like with Safe Light. It wasn't Safe Light. It was another company. That was a tough job.
That's
too.
tough because of the elements and stuff too.
And this was way back. You see it now. I love these commercials.
Oh,
You
they got
see it
that
now.
thing that rolls up to the car.
They got a little crane and suction.
Two people.
There was no 2 people. There was you and a box fan and a cutter. You had an electric knife, but you had to be careful because it could burn through stuff. And it was just you and brute strength mostly. You're just pushing and it's just
It's a good thing. It's a good thing
man.
windows are light.
Knifing it out. 12 months a year didn't matter as long as it wasn't raining or wet. We would do outside the cold, outside the hot. I hated that job. That was an awful job.
Yeah. Another one I had is I worked at a warehouse in East Peoria over there, a summer job, and I drove a forklift. And what we had to do was drive the forklift, and it was like summer, so it was like 95 degrees outside. And we would have to drive these forklifts into boxcars of trains and get off the forklift, unload stacks of boxes, stack them on the pallets, drive them over to the shrink wrap them, then go put the pallet away. But you were in and out of this boxcar that was probably 110 degrees all day, stacking boxes on these pallets and then driving the forklift. You felt good when you got on the forklift. It was breeze. So there's that one. And then right after high school, I had a co-op job where I worked at a meat packing grocery store, small place here in town. And every quarter I would have to go inventory the walk-in freezer. And I don't know what temperature they had. I think it was set for North Pole is what they had the freezer set at. They would give you a parka. Here, throw that on. Go count.
Well, it's got to be under 32 degrees. They gotta
It
keep
was
cold.
it was very cold. And you'd go in there, and you're trying to write with a pen, and it's like, write, and trying to write on these papers, trying to keep track, count of what you're counting. So, I don't know, that was just like three that came to mind when I started thinking. I'm sure there's been other ones that have been tough over the years. Where we currently work, I know I had to go up on a JLG lift and put in a wireless network at the top of the steel. What do they call that? Steel factory? It's not a factory really. It's a steel. What is that? O'Brien.
Oh yeah, it's a steel mill.
Steel mill, yeah. And had to go up over those cutters and hang these wireless access points. I'm afraid of heights, and I don't know, how tall would you say that second building is back there?
It's probably 30 foot.
Yeah, and you're up in this lift over the laser cutters and freaking out a little bit, trying to get my laptop up there. So, I don't know. That was a few of mine. Did you guys have anything else job related?
Those were the three probably toughest.
Some of the other ones I had, there was a couple summers before I started working in the kitchen. What eventually became my college job, but a couple summers before that, in high school, I was just doing some odd stuff throughout the summer, but it was all just dirty. I mean, moving dirt and decking and, just stuff like that, getting up on roofs and doing some like shingling stuff.
That reminds me, I may need some work done out in the yard.
Moving rock. Yeah. It was just all stuff like that. Stuff as a high schooler. It's like, you could do for people who didn't want to do it anymore, but it didn't require a lot of skill necessarily, just, odd stuff like that. But I remember for a couple summers, just loading myself up on that, just lawn care type stuff too. And yeah, I not that I had a lot of specific things, but those were the few kind of that came to my mind.
But quite a bit of physical labor though.
Yeah.
I mean,
that jogged my memory of a job that I had between my junior and senior year. My best friend had moved to Chicago, and his dad worked for this paper company, was the vice president. They had a plant down here in Peoria, and he got us a summer job there. And so my best friend came back, lived with us, and we worked there 5 days a week, which I loved because I was working, again, $5 an hour. I was making $3.35 cooking at the Golden Corral. So I'm like, good, I got to quit that stupid job. We're going to We went there. It was kind of the same thing, like handyman. They worked us to death. And it was doing it. There was this hole that they had in the back. This was down by the river, and there was this big hole. I don't know what the hole was from, but literally, you climb down. If I climbed into it, my friend's 6'9". When he climbed into
6'9",
it, yes, when he climbed into it, you could not see his head. We had to fill that hole in. That was one of our summer jobs.
Digging in.
We had to paint these huge brick buildings. They were putting in a new boiler. And so for 2 weeks, we had to bust concrete with a jackhammer. One of us would go down in the pit, and one of us would be up busting, and we'd switch off and on. So you'd sit up, the guy up front would bust. He'd stop. You'd just, then the guy on the bottom would fill up the wheelbarrow, pulley it up to the top. He would take and dump it, and then come back. And then you switch. Oh my gosh. They destroyed us. They just destroyed us. And when we got older and married and everything, my friend told me that his dad said, I got you guys that job. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I told the plant managers there, these boys going to come down there. I want you to show them what it's like to work so they get an education. I want you to work them to death. And I said, I want you to give them a beating that they will not forget. And they did. I'm like, well, it worked because we were whooped. We had we made good money for back then, but it's like, we were so tired on the weekends. You're like, we're too tired of getting into trouble. You're too tired to do a bunch of anything. You're just like, I'm so tired.
Yeah. But sometimes those jobs you get done and I don't know, it's a good feeling.
I learned a lot.
Even today when I do some physical labor, I can't do near as much as I used to, but I do physical, things around the house or whatever, and I feel good after I do them. I mean,
that was, my dad had always taught me you take pride in what you do.
Yeah.
And as a kid in high school who's thrown his back out, hauling just tons of river rock all day. It's like at the time, it's like you don't really think that way as a kid, but
what am I proud of here?
Yeah. I mean, looking back, it does teach you.
It does.
It teaches you those life lessons.
An ethic or whatever. And so I don't know.
Work ethic, how to deal with, work, and how how to deal with doing something that no one is going to care about, or no one really, like you said, takes pride in, but you got to make it where I would try to play games with stuff because back then we didn't have music and nothing. So you're like, all right, what can I do? Let's see how much of this I can get done in an hour. So I'd look at the clock, boom. It's like, all right,
this was pre-music?
Well, then there was no music on the work side. And so, you try to do that, or like, okay, we have this. Can we get this done by the end of the day? And you're like, so you set goals for yourself. Otherwise, you're just going crazy. If you just go there, stand, look at that giant hole every day, you're like, oh. It's like
Doug singing to himself. Stop singing, Meeks.
Yeah. Well, So like we had other piles of dirt.
The whip. You just hear the whip crack in the background.
That's how I felt. Oh, but they did. They whooped us. They whooped us hard, but it was good. It was a good time.
Yeah. So I don't know what my point really with that was. It was just for a chance for us to reminisce.
You're an old man. You don't have
old
a point.
man. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that. That will be something we talk about later.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I was just some reason I got my mind on that of like some of the harder things I had to do with. So,
well, kind of playing off of that, I saw this story in the New York Post. There's a new trend. Ghost working.
Another trend.
Maybe this could have helped us or not. I don't know. Ghost working. Here's how a majority of burned out employees pretend to do their job every day. Most 9-to-5ers just aren't in good spirits. Ghost working, feigning business in order to fool the boss, is a phony baloney employment ruse on the rise. More than half of employees, 58%, admit they regularly pretend to be working.
Oh, how can you get away with this?
From fake meetings to typing nonsense, employees are getting creative to maintain the illusion. So it breaks it down here.
How do you pull this off? I'm genuinely curious.
That is what I was going to ask you guys. So I'm glad it says, and when falsifying hustle and bustle grows stale, a staggering 92% of staffers search for other employment opportunities while on the clock.
Oh, my.
Wow.
So it's they break it down.
So they can go there and ghost work?
Yeah. They surveyed 1,100 workers across the U.S. to find that office pressures and micromanagement, as well as lack of meaningful tasks. So to keep up appearances, 23% of ghost workers walk around the office with a notebook. 22% randomly type gibberish on the keyboard to stimulate. So, or you could just do work. I mean, if you're typing anyway.
If you got your fingers on the keyboard and they're moving.
15% have held their phones up to their ears and pretend they're on a call for a while. Another 15% keep spreadsheets open while they search the internet or do other things. 12% schedule fake meetings. How does that work? How do you schedule a fake? Don't the other people wonder, like, so what are we doing? What is this meeting about?
They're all at the fake meeting.
Maybe they are. Maybe that's where I'm naive. They're at the fake meeting. So it says 24% use the company time to edit their resumes. 23% apply for new jobs on work-issued computers. And 20% take recruiter calls from the office.
Wow.
19% have actually even done interviews in their cubicle with other companies.
If you're a recruiter and you call the guy and he says, yeah, I'm at work, doesn't that send you a signal right there?
Yeah.
First off.
Well, and, 1.2 real quick. This is like almost more work than just working. It's like if you just do your job, I feel like aren't you putting in more effort into faking you're working at this point than just actually like working?
If you're doing this, there's probably a good chance they don't need your job.
Yeah.
If you can get away with this, the company, from working with most companies, now, if you're in a small company, it's a little different, but some of these larger, you could probably take and just cut 30% of the staff just randomly, and they probably would not miss a beat. There's a lot of bloat. Mm-hmm. It's not just the government. There's a lot in private business, everything.
Well, you remember, we've done work for a national company. I mean,
yes.
A giant
yes.
company. And we've gone to some useless meetings. I mean, they may as well have been
that
fake.
Would be the same meeting. It would be we'd answer the same questions. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say that I think some people, it was their job just to schedule meetings.
Yeah. You know where you don't do this? when you're detailing a fire truck or putting in windshield. All the jobs I've had, I could never do because I have a job that my productivity at the end of the day is measured. It's like, boom, I do this. This has to be completed.
Yeah.
There's no screwing off.
Well,
no screwing around.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you got to get your work done.
You can only get away with this in the office, basically. In certain offices.
Yeah.
Or remote work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, an office job. I
Or
guess.
jobs that are about to be taken over by AI. Or robots. Seriously. That's
Yeah,
why they're
yeah.
going to do it. It's like, well, the robot won't do that.
And when I was in consulting,
Robots looking for another job.
yeah,
Walking around with rolling around with a notebook. Bleep, bloop, blop.
nothing to see here.
Indeed.
When I was in consulting, when we were on the clock, literally every second of what we were working on was tracked. And if you were not, my goal was 85%. If you were not 85%, forget the term. If your log time for the week was not 85% towards billable time, then that wasn't good enough. And literally, you had timers. Like, you would start and stop timers all day long to do what you're, and then you had a sheet that is like, hey, Mike spent this much time on this. He spent this much time on that. It's like, I don't know how you can just. I spent 50% of my time looking at resumes this week. It's like, or working on my resume this week.
Yeah,
It's like, how can you get away with this? That's what I don't understand, at least from my experience.
Yeah.
I don't get how you can pull this off.
That's how my job is kind of now. We have to log into the system. I have to log myself onto a job. When I'm done, I have to log out. It sends an email, puts my time in, and there's some arbitrary number that we have to hit. So you got to be at this percentage of, like you said, billable or whatever every year. So I can't. But does that mean we don't goof off a little bit or have fun? But yeah, but
Sure.
usually when I'm working, we're doing something or whatever. But I saw this. I'm like, this is ridiculous. If you had that much, I'd be nervous. Like, I need to find another job because they don't need me here.
I want to. Okay, so from what we read there, how can this burn you out? How can you be so burnt out from doing nothing? That's what I don't get. Like, now, if you were like stressed to the bone with way more work than you should be doing, it's like, okay, like then you would be burned out. But if you have time for this stuff, how can you be burned out?
Well, I would be burnt out from doing nothing because I hate that. Because we've been slow before. We've been slow and just sitting in the office trying to find something. If I have to do that for too long, I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe I need to find another job because I need something to do. I don't know how people just go and sit at a desk and do nothing.
Yeah.
Just sit there. It's like, holy smokes. I don't know. I just couldn't do that. Anyway, I saw that. I just wanted to bring that up. So ghostworking.
Ghostworking.
Hopefully none of our listeners, I'm sure all of ours are very productive members of society.
I didn't get through the whole article. Did it mention anything about ages or anything like that? Or was this just in general?
Do you want to take a guess?
Well, as the boomers are phasing out of the workforce and the next, I don't know. Could it be Z's? Or,
well, it does say
X's
ghostworking isn't simply an effect of employee entitlement or Gen Z laziness. It's a craze born out of corporate confusion. That's what it says. So I was like, well, so it didn't really. I didn't see. Did you see it?
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't
Just curious.
See it in there. So no, I didn't see any age. Sorry, they don't tell an age range, or maybe it was anonymous. Maybe they didn't ask for age.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Just get to work.
Go buff out a fire truck.
That's right. So anyway, that was all I had for that.
Well, I've got a story here that I saw. Speaking of our usual whipping boys here on this type of thing, Gen Z. I'd seen a story. This is out of Canada. I think this is from CBC.
And for those of you who are just listening for the first time and don't know, Greg is a boomer, I am a Gen Xer, and Mike is a millennial.
Yeah.
He's a baby millennial. So, he's like on the tail end of it.
I just snuck in.
He just snuck in.
Yeah.
So the CBC had the story, Adulting 101. Programs help Gen Z catch up on key life skills. So at first I saw this and I was like, okay, this is just another way to make fun of Gen Z, basically.
Yeah.
In my head. But as I got into it a little bit, I was like, maybe this isn't actually such a bad idea. It might be helpful, actually.
I'm glad you said that, Mike. I'm just going to say one thing real quick. Because I thought the same, because I saw this article too. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, here we go, Gen Z. But after I read it, I'm kind of like, nah, I had to change of heart. It kind of swayed me. So go ahead.
Well, and I think that we've also kind of failed on some of these things.
Well, yeah, and I think this would have been good learning for really any generation.
Right. So it talks about, they mention a student at Toronto Metropolitan University, Alden Garcia, says he has a lot of life skills to learn. So he goes on to say, I don't know how to change a tire. I don't have a car at all. I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to do a lot of things other than cooking. So it's like, okay, well, that makes you feel good. Like,
yeah.
The iPad generation has officially integrated into society. So that was comforting there, that quote there. I don't know how to do a lot of things. Good. So that makes me feel good. So he also goes on to question his knowledge in financial matters, interest rates, mortgages, paying rent, budgeting, that type of a thing. So further down in the article, it mentions that some post-secondary institutions have added resources like courses and information sessions to help students learn life skills. Experts say young people, especially Gen Z, are missing out on learning critical skills because they're not given enough independence. Okay, I guess that maybe is one reason. I would maybe throw a few more reasons in there, but it says the University of Waterloo created an online resource called Adulting 101 in 2023 to give students access to information about important life skills like household maintenance, basic nutrition, and how to navigate a grocery store.
Hold on. I want to back up to a previous sentence where you said Gen Z, they're missing out on learning critical skills because they're not given enough independence. Does independence make you learn these skills?
Well, in a way, it could. Like if you're forced to do something.
I guess if you're forced, but I mean, I think it's helpful if you've got some guidance. I mean, like my dad taught me to change a tire, and
ideally, I guess that's how you'd go about it. But like I said, this is the iPad generation.
Yeah.
I grew up on a screen, so.
But sometimes necessity is the mother of all inventions. I mean, if something comes up,
you got to.
And no one's helping you.
I
got to figure that out.
Yeah, I've had to figure out a lot of things, and I usually make a mistake the first 30 times.
No. Yeah. Well, that's all part of it, though.
It is.
So, they go on. The Adulting 101 goes on to teach those things, and it says offerings at other universities address issues like career planning, finances, first aid, and maintaining healthy relationships. Charbonneau.
I need to take that class.
One of the university folks, they say that students report feeling anxious or stressed trying to navigate life in post-secondary school, that access to resources helps normalize their experience. It goes on to then talk about some generational differences. So members of the Gen Z demographic, people born between 97 and 2013, which I was 96, so they grew up with fewer opportunities to learn practical skills, according to researchers. A psychology professor at San Diego State University researched generational differences. She argued that limiting kids' freedom and not teaching them practical skills is doing them a disservice, which I'm not going to disagree with, basically. I would say, that is... Well, it's not even doing them, it's doing all of us a disservice, collectively as a society. So the rest of the article kind of gets into some more of the mental side of it, but basically that's what I wanted to touch on from the article. But a thought that I had is, I think we should actually be teaching kids more of these things. We could drop some of these other courses in school, AP biology or advanced chemistry. It's like we could probably do without a class or two of those, and we should have, I think, maybe call it common sense classes or whatever.
Well, when I was in high school, we had a class called Consumer Ed.
Yeah.
And you learned to balance a checkbook, you learn how to write checks. And that's back when checks were what we used.
We had the Consumer Ed too.
And see, and that goes for one part of it, which I'm totally on board with. But I think we do need a homeowner type of thing. We need a here's what you do in this situation type of thing. So if you find yourself in these situations, you're not completely lost or helpless.
What? Homes never break or anything.
No.
My son had almost this exact gripe about 10 years ago after he'd gotten out of high school, was in college. I was talking to him. He said, high school did not prepare him for anything. Didn't prepare him for college. It didn't prepare. He said all they did was teach, they taught to the test. You took the test, you got a good grade, you moved on.
So when he was in school, did he have, because another thing we had was industrial arts, where they teach you woodworking, electrical.
He did not take it.
Auto, or basic small engine.
See, I took all of them that I could.
Yeah.
And that was 5 or 6 courses. And Doug's son and I are roughly the same age.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a year or two apart.
My old high school and my son's old high school, they still have those classes.
Yeah.
But they're not mandatory. You don't have to take
They were elected. And I feel like those are a regional thing. They may not, I don't know if they're offered everywhere.
Yeah, so we took those, and then 6 weeks or 9 weeks out of the year, the guys that were it was split by guys and gals. Gals did home economics, guys did industrial arts. But for 9 weeks, guys had to go over to home ec, and the girls had to go over to industrial arts. We learned to sew on buttons, make some basic foods like meals, do different things like house
laundry.
Yeah, laundry, things like that. And that started in junior high. So you're right. I mean, I think we need this.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. Because not only is it, like the article said, kind of doing like kids these days a disservice by not physically getting their hands on and learning these skills, but the rest of us are screwed too. Because one day, I mean, that's what happens when people retire from workforces. And
several years ago, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would say we lose as a society. We lose all those skills and we lose all that knowledge.
Several years ago, I was listening to this. I don't know. I think it was on the radio. And they had somebody. They were interviewing millennials at the time because they were the up and coming generation. And they were asking about, do you know how to do this or that? And they said, well, you don't need to do that anymore because everything you can get on an app, you can find what are all the Angie's List, or you can, hire a handyman or different things like that. It's like, I'll just hire this done. I'll hire that done. It's like, well, yeah, when you have money, but when you don't have money, guess what? Or maybe it's just, even if you have money, it's good to know. That way how would you know if you never knew how to change a light fixture? And you call me and I come in and I say, I'll change that. It'll be $800. And you're like, okay, you don't have any concept of, is that a good value or not?
And the guy goes, click, 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 click. Then he does a little ghost working. And then
or you can just do click, click, click and leave and you wouldn't know. You're like, that's what he charged me. So if you don't know how to do it, it's worth, you're going to pay whatever you're going to pay.
Yeah.
But we like I said, we make fun of and gripe about Gen Z a lot. Some of it warranted, some of it in good-natured fun. I feel like this is not on them at all. This is a failure on the parents, which would be the millennials and Gen Xers.
Oh, good. You didn't say the boomers.
Well, the boomers really don't. You're too old. You're the grandparents. So Gen Xers are grandparents, but some Gen Xers have some older Gen Zs, but that's your parents' job to teach you these. Like my mom taught me how to. We had to learn how to. She taught us how to. Me and my brother. We had to learn. We had to cook. She taught us how to sew. She taught us how to do laundry, our own laundry. She's like, I'm not your maid. This is how you do laundry. And every so many loads, we'd have to go down and do our own laundry. How to iron. We had to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing in home ec, ironing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other is the public education system. It's horrible. And this is broad brushing. I know there's probably some good schools out there, but for the most part, it is not. It's terrible. It's awful. They do not do it. This is playing into it. There was a story this last week. This was in the New York Post. Young lady who is suing the Connecticut school district because she is at some college. I don't remember what it. She's in college right now. She graduated from her Connecticut school district with honors. Got to college. She doesn't know how to read. How do you graduate with honors? That's what she's saying. She goes, the schools let me down. Now part of this, like, you could have said something at once, but honestly, if I'm in high school, I did not want to do any work either. I'm just like, look, if they're going to keep passing me through.
But with honors, I mean, how can you get through?
No, they might have passed me through a couple. It wasn't with honors. It was like I was getting a D, and like I don't want him again. Let's make that a C minus.
Yeah,
Look, he'll get him
on.
through. He'll be out. He'll
I
be
don't
somebody
even see how
else's
you
problem
push somebody
next year.
through like that.
I guess the rest of the class was just so bad that it gave her honors. But yeah, and that's part of our problem is I don't know how we catch up to even get to teaching life skills when half the kids can't even read or do basic math or anything like that.
Well, I think a lot of these schools, they teach so much junk that has nothing to do with anything. I think you get back to let's do just basic stuff. Basic math, basic reading.
Oh, and the math
basic
they're
English.
teaching them?
Well, yeah, and now we're on some, I don't even know if we're on Common Core now.
I saw
anymore.
some of my grandson's math, and he was explaining it to me, and I'm like,
And doesn't it,
and he's 9. It's like, I don't know what you're doing.
and doesn't it seem like so much extra work
Yeah,
to get
it does.
to an answer that you can pretty easily get to regardless?
Yeah.
That's at least the stuff I've seen with it. I don't know.
I would just go.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is, I think it's on the parents for it. Because as a parent, it was my job I taught my son, I made him change the oil a couple times. I said, you don't have to, you can take, and he started going and, having it, paying for it. Although now I think when he can, he does it himself.
Yeah.
He's poor, like the rest of us.
Yeah.
So he wants to think. But I made him change the oil. I made him change tires. I said, you need to learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just so that you know. And I heard somebody today was talking about the story, and they said that the new term, it was helicopter parents. They hover around, make sure. He said the new term that he's heard for a lot of these kids today are called snowplow parents. And the reason they call them that is because they go in front of the kid pushing everything out of the way so they don't have to deal with any adversity whatsoever. Just make a nice clear path for them. But then they don't know how to do anything when they get to adulthood. You want to try to protect your kid as much, but that sometimes there has to be some pain. There has to be some discomfort to them. And you hate that as a parent, but it has to be. It's kind of like if you go and exercise, you're tearing that muscle, but that's the way it builds. It's pain, but in the long run, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
You hate it as a parent,
Yeah.
but you got to let them do it. It's not fun.
And I appreciate my parents for teaching me a bunch of those things, and not just life skills, but again, taking the pride in your work ethics.
Yeah.
And
We just always try to teach our kids the basics, and I don't know. You're married to my daughter, so you would know better than I do if we did a good job or not.
He's got a list of things you wish you'd have changed.
There are things
some things that I wish you
could have
could have
done
changed.
better, but
that being said, too, on my end, I'm also not above going to ask my dad, like, "Hey, Dad, have you ever done this before?" Or
Yeah.
did you give a
And
hand
that's
to
what
that?
dads are there for. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, I've even pestered Greg with stuff before too, just like
Jeez,
stuff here
I
and
know.
there. But I mean, it's just, I'm not above, doing that type of stuff
So you
still.
tell
But
had you done a better job with your daughter, I wouldn't have to pest you with the daughter. I let
wait a
her
minute,
change the tire. Put the brakes on the car.
get out there and do that.
Courtney,
I'll take care of the baby. Can you put the brakes on the car?
I'll go. So we're an outfit.
All right.
But yeah, we made all 3 kids at 16, all had jobs. I mean, it's like, okay, you're 16, go find a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done working?
Yeah, I think so.
That was a lot of work for one day.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to
Sorry, those first 2
this
segments
whole
went along.
the rest of this podcast now. I'm going to just act like I'm doing something.
Yeah, those first 2 topics went a long
Yes,
time.
they did. All right. Well, let's talk sandwiches real quick.
All right.
I listened to a podcast. They were debating what is the best sandwich. And I was like, that's an interesting question. And then I saw a radio station had posted on Facebook, what is the best sandwich? So I was trying to think, what would be the best sandwich? And it may not even be necessarily, because I have a favorite.
I have an answer.
I don't know if I have a favorite. It kind of depends on the day, what's happening, what I want. But let's just throw some out there. You have, Mike? Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Well, I'm going to save Greg's. I know what he's going for, but I'd second his. You know what? You can never go wrong with a good BLT. I love a good BLT. It's got basically everything you need: the meat, the substance, some veggies. I don't know. I love a good BLT. I'll take BLT, and BLTs are pretty versatile, so you can, spice them up a little bit if you want.
Now, do you put mayonnaise, or you just go strictly BLT and out the door?
Oh, I could go mayo. I could put like spicy mayo on there too. I don't know. You could mix and match your BLT stuff. I mean, you have to have the core. The BLT has to be there.
I'm not a fan
I'll
of
do
the
BLT I do the BLT and I just do a B.
I do a BLC.
I do a BB.
cheese.
Bread and bacon.
Yeah. I do bacon, lettuce, and cheese.
I don't want lettuce.
Yeah. I put cheese on mine too.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I did have BLT was one of them. I thought that's a good sandwich. That's not even one I like. I'm just saying as far as a sandwich, that's a good
That
sandwich.
one's kind of like, it's like a good starting block. You can modify it or do whatever you want to. You go up or down with the BLT.
See, for me, I would think for mine, because I also know what Greg's probably is, and I have it down, so I'm not going to say that. I'm going to leave this
I'm so
one.
predictable.
But as far as just a basic, kind of like your lunch pail sandwich, your blue collar sandwich. He goes to work. He's doing your ham and Swiss. You get a ham and Swiss. Again, you could throw some mustard. You can do honey mustard. You could do mayo. You could put lettuce and tomato on it.
Does it have to be Swiss? Can it be any other cheese?
I love Swiss cheese.
I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind Swiss. I'm just,
Well,
I
then why
like
you wanna
Colby
change
Jack.
it?
I like Colby Jack.
Now, see, I go Colby Jack. See, I like to pair my cheeses with meat. I like the Colby Jack with the turkey.
I like
Put
that too.
turkey with the Colby Jack. For me, it has to be Swiss. Now, my wife, she does Colby Jack with her ham.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
you're
said
talking
ham and
about just a ham and Swiss, just sandwich, not like a hot ham and cheese.
You can, if you want it hot,
I do like a hot ham and Swiss.
you
That's
like
good.
it hot. So sometimes you got to have it hot.
Gotta have it hot.
So
Some
I
like it hot.
I like a good hot ham and cheese sandwich, but I also like it cold. That one I think it could go either way. I don't think it detracts being cold or hot. I think they're both equally good. Now,
I
some
would agree with
sandwiches
that.
lend themselves better one way or another. I think the ham and Swiss, kind of the utility player, if you will, for baseball. It works all the ways around. With a BLT, I feel like that bacon, it's better if it's hot. I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know people that eat
Ideally.
it cold, but
Ideally.
I think
I
it's
do
hot.
cold with bacon. I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind it's hot either, but
So
Yeah, ideally you want I'd want my bacon.
that's why I said that I feel like the ham and Swiss or the ham and cheese is kind of. I think they're both equally good, hot or cold. I don't really distinguish. Not that may be a detriment. Maybe it's like it doesn't get any better if you heat it up. I don't know.
well, yeah, that's so like if you throw a ham and Swiss in your lunchbox, does it need to go in the fridge or can it sit in your truck all day? Because see,
I
you
usually
got
keep an
meat
ice
there.
packet.
That's my.
I keep an ice pack in my lunchbox.
You want to keep it cool at least.
I don't want to sit it out in the truck and it's 98 degrees.
Right, that's what I kind of getting at.
That's not what we mean by the hot ham and cheese.
No, that could cause you some problems later down
yes,
the road.
it could.
So, all right, Greg, let's hear it.
The good old PBJ.
I had the PBJ.
The PBJ is it's the epitome of a perfect sandwich because you could leave it in your lunchbox and it's fine. You can throw it in the fridge. It's fine. I don't know if that would heat in a microwave or anything. That doesn't sound good. But
No, that one's got to be just room temperature.
just room temp or cold even.
Not my peanut butter though. I don't want my peanut butter cold.
Oh, I don't care if it's cold.
Oh, I don't like it cold.
Yeah,
No.
but it's just that's my go-to sandwich.
Here's what I do with the PB&J. If I'm gonna not eat it right away, I don't like the jelly to make the bread all soggy. I will peanut butter both pieces of bread.
Oh, I don't do that. But
I put a light coat on one side, not thick it up.
primer.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like to keep it.
Let me primer the bread first, and
Keep
then
it
put
from
on that
getting
final
soggy.
coat.
And for me, it's got to be strawberry. Strawberry's my favorite. I love strawberry. I
I'm
want
good
strawberry.
with pretty much any jelly. I mean,
Yeah.
apple, strawberry, grape. I'm good.
I
with
got to
all.
say, that PB&J is probably.
I go with the grape.
Dude,
that's our standard.
But I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I think it's the most consistent sandwich as far as like. Exactly. You're not
Well,
going to get a bad PB.
No.
Because you could have a bad ham and cheese because it depends on what kind of cheese or ham or
Or if you left it in your
BLT,
truck at 98 degrees.
Yeah.
or the BLT, you get it and it's got a horrible, the tomatoes like anemic or
Or the lettuce has gotten
wilted.
wet and blech.
Yeah.
But the peanut butter jelly, I feel like it's solid. It's just going to be the peanut butter
and
jelly.
one of the beauties of a PB&J is you can create your PB&J with like 2 strokes of a knife. You go one and you go the other, unless you prime it. Now it might take a
Well,
little
yeah,
work
with
to
this
prime it.
primer method,
I'm a fancy PB&J.
But you can have a PB&J in like a minute. Like
Yeah.
I mean, 2 like,
they are
boom,
fast to make.
3 things on your counter and you're done.
Yeah. What about a grilled cheese?
Oh,
I love a good
I do
grilled
love a grilled
cheese.
cheese. The problem is with the grilled cheese, if I make the grilled cheese, and then I'm going to want the tomato soup. It's just, to me, it's like a pairing, and it's like a mental thing. If I make the
don't
grilled
like tomato
cheese,
See, growing up,
I gotta
we
get
would
the
have
tomato
that,
soup.
but I don't have a real need for the
for me,
tomato
it's just
soup.
like they're just like, if I make the grilled cheese, I got to make the tomato soup. It's like a one, and it's a combo deal for me. And
I do like a good grilled cheese, buttered on both sides of the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So turkey and cheese, another good solid sandwich.
The simplicity of the grilled cheese almost rivals that of the PB&J.
Almost.
You
Yeah.
throw some cheese on the bread, and
But you got to
Throw it on a heated skillet.
You got to
You have to
heat
toast
it.
it, yeah.
So that it does add some. And I feel like that's not one you can eat later. You need to eat that
Hell,
one
yeah.
right away. You could eat it later, but it loses a lot.
the longer it sits on your plate,
The
the
worse it
quality.
gets.
It's like your car. You drive with the car a lot, the value goes down.
Yeah. I want to take it off the skillet, cut it at a diagonal, and eat.
just dive
Boom.
into it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm eating it right now. What about like
A club. What about a club sandwich?
I could have put that.
That kind
with
of
the ham
combines
and
the turkey,
That's
bacon,
fine.
everything. It kind of combines all the above.
What about a meatball sandwich?
I
feel
like
they're
a
too
good.
messy.
But I like them.
You're a messy person. So is my wife. You guys can't eat the meatball.
Remember that time I dropped one out the door of
The
your
dog
truck,
came out of
and there
nowhere?
was a dog. It was probably a mile away. It comes trotting across this, and it eats the meatball.
and it
then-
leaves. We were at sitting at a park. We had lunch. We went to at this park. It's like, where's this dog come from? Like, I didn't see any people. It's just like, oh, meatball. It just came, ate the meatball, and
it
left,
came from nowhere.
and then just left, disappeared. See, but I feel like too the meatball, you got to have certain bread.
They
You
are
gotta have
messy.
the hoagie, but you can't just have regular bread.
No,
There's a lot of nuance with the
Yeah.
meatball sandwich. It can be good, or like an Italian beef. Same.
Oh.
Any of those.
We just had Italian beef for dinner tonight.
Now, do you do the au jus, or
yeah.
do you see? I like the red sauce. I like a good meat sauce on it too.
And that's kind
of like a marinara?
Yeah, marinara with some Swiss or mozzarella melted over the top.
Yeah.
I could really go either way with that one.
Again,
I love a good au jus sauce.
They're
though.
super messy.
Yeah.
they're hard to eat. You can't eat those in your truck.
Well, especially you go to Portillo's.
Well,
they
man.
drop the whole sandwich in there.
Yeah,
It all
It's a
depends on the bun quality.
Yeah.
If you've got a good
you
bun,
gotta have a
you're
good
okay.
bun.
Yeah, you don't
You
want a
can have
bad
bad
bun.
I
buns.
like
No,
good
you don't want
buns,
bad
and I
buns.
cannot lie. So, all right. Well, I don't really have a winner or loser, but I just was wanting to flush those out. I think PBJ is probably, as far as
Oh, it's a
a
cream of
sandwich in any situation. I like if I
It
tell you
checks a
grab
lot of
sandwich,
boxes.
Grab a sandwich. I'm not going to tell you the situation, but you can take one sandwich. I'm taking a PBJ simply because it's going to be consistent.
And you know
all
what?
The way around.
You could eat a PB&J like 6 in the morning, and you could have one at 6 at night.
There's no,
And it's just
and
as
I could
good.
have one every day.
You can mix
Yeah.
it up. You can go creamy. You can go chunky.
Yeah,
You can do all kinds of jellies. So yeah.
it's very flexible.
And it doesn't matter what kind of bread. I could eat it on. In fact, I have eaten it on a hot dog bun. When we were kids, we didn't have bread. One day, like, man, hot dog buns. Put it on there. I was like, it's fine. It was a little more bread than I like, because the bread overpowered the peanut butter and jelly then.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you're like, hey, I don't care.
Growing up, we had bologna sandwiches.
Bologna and cheese?
Bologna and cheese.
Yeah.
We had that other.
That's not a
that
solid
weird
sandwich.
meat that's got the cheese embedded in it. It's
Yeah.
like a loaf. It's like
Yeah.
the squares, but it's
Yeah.
got little specks of yellow cheese in the meat.
What are we talking about?
It's,
Spam?
it's like a ham loaf. No, it's called like a ham loaf.
It's kind of it's similar to bologna looking, except when you peel the slices off, it's got ham or cheese in it. Cheese cube.
built into it.
or potted meat. My dad ate potted meat.
We ate potted meat too. Spam
Or
we all did.
Braunschweiger. Ooh.
Yeah.
Head cheese. Oh, see, these are bad.
Yeah, those
are
were
bad
the bad
sandwiches.
ones. Yeah, well, those are from the 60s and 70s.
That's what we ought to do a taste test on sometimes. Bring in some of this old retro meat and try it.
Retro meat,
Retro meat.
potted meat.
Ugh. All right. Well, how much time? We've been going long. I got a little game if we have, but I could cut it
Let's
if we
go for
want.
Or do you want to do the game and hold off on the festivals till next week?
We can do that if you want. You guys
Are you good with that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
just do the game?
Yeah.
The game won't take real long, so we might even be able to get the
Yeah, because I don't have a whole
careful.
lot
I
to them.
almost said one festival. Yeah, so it's going to go. These are just quick. It's one has to go. I'm going to give us 4 things. You got to fire off which one is leaving the list. Okay.
Okay.
So I saw this one, And it made me, this first one, it's the one I saw on the internet. And then I thought, well, let's look up some other ones. So here we go. One of these has to go: pizza, pasta, hamburgers, or tacos. Gone forever.
Oh.
Gone forever.
One of them?
One of them.
That's easy.
You get to
Run
keep
through
three.
it one more time.
Pizza, pasta, hamburgers, or taco.
That's easy. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Pasta's gone. And I'm not even thinking twice about it. If I want Italian, I'm taking the pizza. And you know what? The pizza is just as versatile for me as a pasta is. And the pasta, if I'm taking carbs and marinara, I want that on a pizza and not the pasta.
I love pasta. I love
me
Italian
too.
food. No lasagna. Pizza is not lasagna.
No, it's not.
But
You're
if
not
you-
having lasagna pizza.
Look, you can
tortellini.
look, you stack 1 slice, 2 slice, 3 slices
you
of
can
pizza.
have a taco pizza.
Well, you could have a taco pizza, but tacos are, you can't skip tacos. You cannot skip tacos. Because you take the pizza and the pasta, you got too much carbs. Pizza and pasta, that's too much.
Well, I'm not eating them both at the same time.
Well, no, but you go back to back. It's not like we're having PB&Js here.
As much as he doesn't like it, I'm getting rid of tacos.
Yeah.
That's
I
diabolical.
love
right?
lasagna, and I love tortellini, and I love pizza. Yeah.
I was going tacos, and Mike has made a pretty good argument.
It's a
now.
good argument. It's a good
I don't know
argument.
which, because I'm kind of torn. I'm like, oh man,
Which one do you eat more of now?
probably tacos.
Than pasta?
Yes.
Really?
We have tacos.
I used to eat a lot of pasta.
I mean, we did too, but we have tacos at least once a week, where we do not always have pasta consistently. So
We used to have pasta at least once a week.
we
All right,
yeah.
I got to make a decision.
Yep. One's got to go. Top of your head.
I'm going to say pasta. I was
Yes.
tacos until Mike swayed me. That's the first time I've ever swayed. I'm like,
Your mind is weak.
It is weak.
Or is it? I would argue it's not.
Okay, here's the next set: cake, pie, cookies, or ice cream.
Cake, pie, cookies.
Yeah, I can go first on this
or
one.
ice cream. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's ice cream, and I'm not a big ice cream fan, but I like it in certain situations. And if you get a piece of pie, there's certain pies I almost have to have ice cream with. It's going to be hard not to eat the ice cream. And on a hot day, you go see that's Blizzard. I love Blizzards, cookie dough Blizzard. You can't go wrong with the cookie dough Blizzard. We go on vacation. We go to the beach. I love getting an ice cream cone going to the beach. I'm like Joe Biden. I go nap on the beach and eat a chocolate ice cream cone. It's awesome.
I know. That's the thing, man. An ice cream cone in the summertime.
But
or
I'm sticking
a
with it. I'm not
Blizzard.
going to let Mike sway me this time.
No.
I'm staying ice cream.
I've got a different answer. I can go if you
Go
want.
ahead.
I'm getting rid of cake. Because cake, to me, for me, I could go without the cake. Birthday parties might be a little boring for me from now on, but you know what? That's fine.
You're not going to have any of your little daughter's birthday cakes when she says, Daddy, please have a cake.
You know what? We're going to
It's
start
my
a trend.
1-year-old birthday party.
We're going to have pie. Birthday pie.
Boy, some of those are hard to get a candle to stand up.
Oh, I know.
Get a big candle. Candy Yankee candy Yankee.
Yankee candle right in the middle.
Candle.
Yeah, cake for me, it's just the one that I could skip out on. Was cake.
Okay, Greg.
I am torn between both of your two. So it was one of those two, but I haven't decided
See,
yet.
my sweet tooth hits for ice cream pretty hard, so I gotta have my ice cream.
You know, I think I got to 86 the cake as well. Even though I love cake, I got to have some ice cream once in a while. I mean, a Blizzard or summer, I got to have an ice cream once in a while.
I don't eat much cake, but once in a while I get a craving for cake. I gotta have the cake.
I do like cake. I love a good buttercream frosting cake.
Ooh, I like a buttercream frosting.
But then I feel if you get too much frosting,
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
that
my
frosting
gosh.
headache.
Oh no,
Where-
I'm with
right
Mike.
between the eyes.
You gotta. It's gotta have the right ratio.
yeah.
No, it does. It needs a good ratio, but if I got to get rid of it, it's the cake. It's got to go.
All right. Here we go. Number 3. This one, I know which one. It doesn't matter. All right. Pancakes, waffles, French toast, or cinnamon rolls.
French toast, waffles, pancakes, or cinnamon rolls. I'm saying bye to the waffles.
Why the waffle?
Yeah, I love French toast. I love cinnamon rolls, and I like pancakes.
All right.
So,
you
and
want me
I
to
like
go next,
waffles,
Mike, or-
but
Go ahead.
it's got to go.
It's French toast, hands down.
What?
It's just bread.
Oh,
it's just bread.
No,
a lot of
it's
times it's
more than
soggy.
bread.
They try to fool you by putting a little of the stupid powdered sugar. Oh, it's fancy bread. No, it's just bread.
Yeah. No,
it's a piece of bread with a little bit of egg dredge in it, and then they fry it up. Waffles, you got the little compartments. I can put the little butter in each compartment and the syrup in each compartment, and then I can cut up. It's crunchy and it's
just
soft
dough.
inside. It's crunchy and soft. Oh, bread is just bleh. It's just bread. It's always soggy.
Waffles are just dough with a little, and you're not.
Oh,
even
and bread is what? Bread is fancy?
It's like a waffle's a pancake wannabe because it's like they took all the dough out and left these little holes.
French toast is a pancake wannabe. French toast is like the poor man's pancake.
Oh,
we
no.
can't have pancakes, but I got some bread, throw butter on it, and fry it, put some syrup on it.
No.
French
Pancakes.
toast.
Pancakes take eggs. They take milk. They take bread. They take,
French toast
sometimes
has its
vanilla,
own appliance.
vanilla.
Waffles has its own appliance to make. You don't have a French
Well,
toast
there's no
maker.
need. There's no need.
I gotta put the little
I could take a
squares in there.
pancake, take my fork, and poke holes in it, and I got a waffle.
I want to see this. There's no way. We're going to take a picture of you doing it. Let's see what it looks like. It'll look like you destroyed a piece of floppy bread. It's got to be French toast. French toast is gone.
All right, Mike.
No, I like French toast, but out of these, it's weak. It's the weakest one.
The waffle.
Yeah, I had French toast,
Yeah!
and it wasn't even close for me either.
It wasn't even
Oh,
close.
the weak minds are thinking alike again.
Waffles are crunchy on the outside, fluffy in the middle. It's great. It's
Yeah.
great. All right. This next one, I saw it's going to be tough. Chocolate chip cookies, brownies, peanut butter blossoms, or scotcheroos. I'm like,
Ooh.
oh,
Well,
those are like,
there's
that's
two that definitely can't go.
like, for me, that's like the Mount Rushmore of, it's kind of like,
Oh yeah. This
What
is
was the
tough.
first one?
chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
I know
Then
which one I'm
brownies,
going to
right?
go, but go ahead. Unless you want
Wait, do it one more time.
chocolate chip cookies, brownies, peanut butter blossoms, and scotcheroos. I know which one I'm picking, and it's hard. I don't.
You know what?
I love
I'm
all
sorry.
these.
What was that second one again?
Chocolate chip cookies, brownies, peanut
okay.
butter blossoms, and scotcheroos.
I can go. It's my turn, I think, to go first. I went brownies, and I love brownies, but the chocolate chip cookie is kind of like the PB&J of
It's the cookie.
bakery for me.
It is the cookie.
I mean, it's yeah. So I've got to keep that, and then the peanut butter blossom. Oh my gosh, those are just delicacies.
Yes.
And we're from the Midwest, so we were raised on the scotcheroo.
I love a scotcheroo.
So,
I love them.
And it's different from the other ones.
Oh,
You
it
know,
is.
It's not a cookie. It's
the scotcheroo is the cookie brownie.
I
It's
haven't
basically
had a scotcheroo in a while. That sounds really good.
It does sound good.
So I like a good brownie, but the brownie sometimes can go wrong. and you don't want your brownies to go wrong. And so I put the brownie.
I got to go brownie too. I mean, based on this, I love brownies. I don't know what to do about it, but really for all the reasons he just gave, I got brownies.
It's unanimous. I did the same thing, and like I said, this would be probably you could put this as the Mount Rushmore of.
Yeah, and the brownie would be right
Chocolate
there.
chip cookie is, like you said, the cookie. Peanut butter blossoms. I would never have a Merry Christmas again if you got rid of peanut butter blossoms. It's done.
It's
And the scotcheroos, as a kid, yeah, I grew up on. I love a scotcheroo. For those that don't know, it's a Rice Krispie treat made with peanut butter and butterscotch instead of marshmallow,
And then a hard
they're pushed
shell
out,
of
and then
chocolate.
a hard chocolate frosting on top. It's just delicious.
I want
All
one.
right. I got one more. So here we go. Fishing, board games, shower beers, or pancakes.
Okay.
Mike's category.
No, there might be a little collusion on this board, and this was a setup, but that is the board.
2 options in, I knew where this was going.
Fishing, board games, shower beers, or pancakes. And for those who know, these are 4 of Mike's probably favorite things outside of a human being.
All right, well, here, this is the game. You guys are going to guess which one I'm giving up.
Oh,
How about
that's
how
a
about
good
that?
choice.
I've made my decision.
All right, say them again.
Fishing, board games, shower beers, or pancakes.
I've got my guess.
Go ahead.
Shower beers.
I said fishing.
Ooh, I went with the shower beer.
Okay.
I've given up on the shower
I heard
beer.
how much you glow about the shower
He
beer after
does.
you mow and stuff. You're like, there's nothing better.
Look,
so
You're going to have to fire the
I know you-
bartender.
I know you love all of it, but I was like, man, I think he would maybe, now that he's got a daughter, he's like, well, I probably won't get fishing much. So I thought, but the shower beer would be the one lone place I can go and drink my little trouble away. No, I don't know. That's why I said fishing.
I can't wait to teach my daughter how to fish.
Oh, I thought you were going to say shower beer.
Hopefully
teach her
that's a
that.
while.
Bartender and I go way back, so we're tight. So we can make
You
it.
can go fishing together.
Yeah. I'm giving up the shower beer. And look, we are entering prime shower beer season.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
this is the time of year.
That
when
would
shower
have been
beers are full effect.
mine, but I was trying to figure for you. I'm like, what is Mike going to do? So, all right. Well, I think we'll hold off. I don't want to rush these other. We got festivals, crazy festivals. We'll get
Yeah,
into
we
them
got a good
next
start on
week.
next
so,
week.
We went pretty long and had a little overflow of stuff that we were going to try to cram in. 15 pounds of crap.
Well, we
in a
didn't do
10-pound
one
bag.
last week, and I
Yeah.
didn't even get a best of out there. Sorry about that, everybody, but
Well, you couldn't pick.
There's
so
too much.
many.
yeah. Plus, I was out of town.
So, all right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in to the show. We do appreciate it. We love all of our listeners. We want to make sure that you hit that share button. Give us a good review. Give us a 5-star rating. And check out all of our social media feeds. We hope you have a great week.
Send us scotcheroos.
So, send us some scotcheroos. But relax. Take in a deep breath. It's going to be all right. And we'll see you in 7 days. I screwed it all up. See ya.
Later.
I know. Mike looked at
Mike's
me.
Mike's
He's
throwing
like,
off.
no. But until then, see you in 7 days. There we
Later.
Peace. And Greg
I
had
can't
the
get it out of-
timing off in the intro too, and that one threw
I
me
can't
for a
get it
loop.
out of the